Tune in, it's time to take the ride. Regina's voice, it's your guide. West Virginia's heart, it's right inside. West Virginia Wire, hear the news. Politics and stories, what's shaping you. From the capital to the county.
Wait, that's happening now? West Virginia Wire, Regina React.
All right, guys, I have one more for you. So if you caught my piece on our Governor Patrick Morrisey and our new Attorney General John McCuskey, then you saw that they are threatening to sue the NCAA. He called it, quote, the grossest miscarriage of justice. Now, I mean, let's define justice in his position as governor. Anyway, you guys, please go check out my piece on that. So right now we are looking at another presser that he's done. This was just released and I'm not even sure what in the world. So he's wanting more data centers. Let's see, Governor Morrisey asking legislature to allow more microgrids data centers in West Virginia. So, I mean, that's all well and good, I guess, but what are you asking from the taxpayers for this? And I will say I'm not pleased with the communications in Boone County, West Virginia. I'm hoping I don't have to dig further and do a piece on this, but when you call 911, it's not directly connected to our sheriff's department. I have asked the sheriff's department about it, tried to do a deeper dive. Maybe one day we'll connect, but this is our sheriff's last term. I asked if he was interested in running it for anything else, and I guess that he's not, or he's already working on it with someone else, and we just haven't heard anything. All right, let's keep going.
Data centers. Now, for those who don't know, a microgrid is a self-contained power network that operates separate from the main power grid. Right now, the West Virginia Code allows for 2 microgrids in the entire state. Our bill seeks to change that and to accommodate the demand of the data centers that are so desperate to be hooked up to get closer to the energy source. Current law also requires these microgrids to be powered by renewable energy in part. That's going to change. Right now, we have a lot of data centers that have been knocking on our doors, and they're anxious to come to West Virginia and start using our natural resources as a main source of power. Under our proposal, we're going to make it easier for these data centers to do that.
So my first question would be, are these data centers stateside? I hope that they are. Let's just keep going.
West Virginia will be the most attractive state in the country for data centers after this.
We won't be very attractive for anything if you keep whining and crybabying about the grossest miscarriage of justice being about a college basketball tournament. I mean, for real. Let's keep going.
This bill is passed. So we have a lot of good things going on. And today, I'm calling on the legislature, and I'm glad to be joined with senior members of the legislature to consider this proposed bill called the Power Generation and Consumption Act, which expands data center development in West Virginia. It utilizes our coal and natural gas and water resources, and once again, makes West Virginia #1 in the country in terms of attractiveness.
Well, that doesn't sound unreasonable.
This Power and Generation and Consumption Act can allow companies to develop independent energy grids using natural resources, positioning West Virginia as a prime location, once again, for data centers, for AI. It's about our national security, and West Virginia will lead the way. This bill will also drive economic growth and grid and data center developments and folks in the counties. So it's
for him, but I've got an awesome team of senators who love West Virginia. That's why they're here. I see Senator Jeffries, who has been a rock star. He's the chairman of the but he's chairman of the Economic Development Committee, and these
gentlemen an opportunity to share their thoughts on this. And I'll start with Senate President Randy Smith, who's been busy doing a lot of good work this session. Mr. President.
Thank you, Governor. Great day in West Virginia. It's a great day to see all the people that's been involved moving West Virginia forward for the last 10 years or so. And as somebody, I can't remember which one on the A team said, I love it when a plan comes together. And this is proof of it today. We've worked hard to change the business climate in West Virginia, the regulatory climate, and, court reform.
For this particular policy because, it has a chance to open up and develop more of the vocational trades for our youth. I think that's something that's been lost and we really need to push going forward because, the vocational trades.
That same roll forward as we provide energy to the rest of the world. So, Governor, we appreciate the leadership. We're excited to work with you.
Pat, do you have any comments from yourself? Hey, you got to give you a chance. Come on.
A couple of things. Actually, I'm just really excited for this particular policy because, it has a chance to open up and develop more of the vocational trades for our youth. I think that's something that's been lost and we really need to push going forward because, the vocational trades can sort of develop what's been the old classical forgotten virtues like self-control and temperance. If we teach our children and have that access for our youth again of sort of a resurgence of the vocational trade, hopefully we can take care of many other problems that are sort of downstream from that. Because if you develop self-control and master a trade, not only is it very fulfilling for yourself personally, but it helps the community. And it also teaches, if you have the virtue of self-control, then maybe you can also forego illicit drug use. Maybe you have self-control to get off the couch and go for a jog in the morning. But I think we need more of that. And that's one particular reason why I'm really kind of excited about the governor's new proposal here. So thanks.
The future of digital infrastructure needs the chance to really.
I think they put down the back burner, and I think they had recognized that maybe they were moving with too much haste then, and there's time to kind of perfect something. So is this kind of born out of that earlier effort and improvement on what's trying to be done in December?
Well, yeah, certainly. Well, we know that several years ago, the legislature started this process in terms of the microgrids, and they had permissible ability to do two, but there were a number of strings attached to it, if you will. And I know when I saw that in the fall, I thought it would be more beneficial if we could move away to not just doing, company-specific pieces, but to have more broad approaches that'll have more economic value for the state. So I think that most people share that approach. And that's why I think it's so helpful to note that there's so many people in the House and Senate who've been working on a more comprehensive approach that I think is going to have a bigger impact. So it's just more born from a few people who are looking to go bigger and to start to have needle movers instead of just having one specific
effort to near the airport in Mason County. I guess that's by Dallas, and there's one that with Power China in Jackson County. When we went with those individual things, was that more of an effort to protect coal, or this is more of an effort to get other energy sources into this?
I would say that there are a couple different ways to think about this. There still will be up to 2 companies that could take advantage of the microgrid, so nothing would change. And anyone who had been operating under that assumption, nothing changes for them. But what this does is designed to make West Virginia even more attractive from a data center perspective, because the data centers are going to be able to access the local energy sources outside the grid. But we also did it in a way to shore up the support of the grid. So this is really designed to take advantage of what we think is one of the biggest economic opportunities that West Virginia has seen in a very, very long time. But it also holds harmless those.
I mean, it's good to see the governor finally reaching for things that, rather than suing to gain revenue for West Virginia. But I don't know much about this. Anybody know? Drop it in the comments. Let me know.
Folks that have been looking at the old law and thinking that they were going to operate under that framework.
Well, part of that, obviously a big part of this is the microgrid effort you're talking about, but you do keep alluding to grid resiliency and trying to get more use. I know there's a provision in there for base fuel supply, requiring coal-fired power plants to have, I believe, 30 days of supply on hand. Is there any concern about that requirement and similar requirements in this perhaps having the opposite effect and possibly raising the price on utility customers to keep some of these power plants going full time?
I would say no for a couple of different reasons. First, when you have some of these local grids that the data center will be operating under, to the extent that there's
sorry. Is he suggesting getting rid of power plants and localizing all of the control through data centers? Is that what he's suggesting? You guys, is that what he's saying? Is that what he's saying? I'm not sure I understand this. Somebody, if you understand this, please let me know in the comment section.
Significant investment needed and additional transmission. A lot of those will get born within the microgrid. That's significant. Second, we've specifically set up this fund to address it because we want to make sure that we're protecting consumers. All of us have heard about the high cost of power and a lot of consumers who have been hurt by that. I want to make sure that we're bringing stabilization to the grid. And so that's why some of the resources are dedicated toward addressing that. So you might have one of the utilities who has some needs, and rather than pass that along, there might be other investments that could be made by the state and others that otherwise you wouldn't have been able to do before, knowing that the money is going to be passed down to the consumer. So it's been an effort to address that.
Just a quick clarification on that too. Is that going to be kind of a new type of ad valorem property tax? I know that's going to be done in conjunction with the Board of Public Works kind of doing those assessments and whatnot. What's kind of different about it?
So it's not a new tax. It's the same tax structure, but what it does is it changes some of the distribution after, of course, the needs of the counties get addressed. Counties have normal property tax systems. They may have excess levies. And the goal is they're going to do very well, but then we thought that this was also a shared resource for the entire state. And that's the money that we propose dividing into. The income tax reduction, which is very, very important, will make West Virginia more competitive. The 15% on economic development, the 15% on grid stabilization, and 10% for general revenue. But this is not a new tax. It's just building and changing because some of the resources coming in, I think, merit being shared in a number of different places.
Thank you.
Hey, Alex.
How dependent is the microgrids on coal production? And I know the Coal Renaissance Act aims to ramp up coal production. How soon do you expect production to be increased?
It's hard to put an exact time frame on it, but we're putting the right provisions in and incentives in place, and we've tried to work with all the affected groups. We think that coal has a strong place in our state's future, in our country's future. We think gas is going to be very, very attractive. And I want to encourage all of the different energy sources that we have, because we have a lot of energy in a lot of areas, and we want to take full advantage of it. So I think that there are going to be great opportunities for all the different forms of the reasons why that we're attractive to a lot of some of the equipment right here in West Virginia. Any final questions? Well, thank you all for coming, and this is a great opportunity for this session and for our students. Thank you.
All right, everybody. Well, that's it.
From mountains to the rivers wide, tune in, it's time to take the ride. Regina's voice, it's your guide. West Virginia's heart, it's right inside. West Virginia, why hear the news? Politics and stories, what's shaping you? From the capital to the county line, we're keeping it local, keeping it fine. West Virginia Wire every week. Let's talk the truth, let's hear you speak. From the coal fields to the rolling hills, we've got the facts and the local thrills. What's on your mind, what's making news? Tune in, get the updates you choose. West Virginia, why not hear the news? Politics and stories, what's shaping you? From the capital to the county line, we're keeping it